My name is Megan O'Russell.
And my name is Christopher Russell, and welcome to this week's in-between-isode of Page by Page. I wish that we could take credit for that, but that is actually something we took from Joanna Penn. Thank you, Joanna. But it is Page by Page, writing the book in real time. And Megan, you wanted to do this because you wanted to do kind of like a catch-up episode, right? So that people who are jumping in for the first time, this could be something they could go to. And maybe a nice refresher, since we are releasing this 1 week at a time. It could be nice to go back and...
Yeah. Well, it's just... So for me, if there's like a huge, like 5 seasons of a show or something before I get to jump in, I'm super overwhelmed. And because it is a podcast and is a story in serial form, I don't want people to be like, oh, I have to go back to episode 1 of the whole podcast or I can't enjoy it at all.
Right.
That's overwhelming. And so I want to do periodic catch-up episodes where we just go over the basic plot points. So if this is your entry point into the story, you will have the information you need to enjoy things going forward.
Okay.
Just as a way to continue to include new people as we continue this journey.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. And also, sorry, I was going to say something else, and then I knew that she was going to meow. Hi, Meanie.
They've been really... speaking of them meowing all the time, our cats have been very upset and needy since Hurricane Milton came through.
Yeah, they've been more clingy than usual, and that's saying something because they're pretty clingy. But sorry, I actually regained my thoughts, if that's okay.
Oh, yes.
To go ahead with. So what I was going to say is that you'll notice the format for this episode is quite different because this is not a full episode. We're aiming for like 20-30 minutes or so.
I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll
see what happens. But this is very, it's kind of off the cuff. Like our other episodes, yes, sometimes we go a little bit.
Notes.
We go.
I get notes this time. I get the notebook.
Yeah, you do. You do get the.
I'm in charge.
So what we're doing this week is we're going to recap. And Megan said, "Hey, you know what would be a fun idea? Why don't we each do a 60-second recap of the book so far?" She has notes. I do not. So we'll see.
Well, because I wanted to see how well you would do without notes. But before we get to that, thank you to everyone who reached out to make sure that we were okay before, during, and after Hurricane Milton. We actually got really lucky. We did lose power, so the regular episode of Page by Page will be a little bit late this week, just because no service, no electricity.
It won't be too late
really
at
close.
all. It'll be. So we're recording this episode on this in between episode on Monday night. We will be recording the usual Tuesday episode tomorrow morning, and that will be going up a few hours late, but it'll be there.
So I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Especially since we did learn what the sound of ripping metal looks like. What is it a portico? What are those?
It's covered parking space. All of the owners of the condos get a covered parking space.
And the roof of ours, but the one next to us peeled up, and the metal was tearing. It was flying through the air. It was horrific. Listening to that and watching that
I'll see if I can put a photograph of the one that we took of our car up. I'll see if I can get that up there.
And all the metal was flying towards our car, and somehow the little posts that I hate parking by and I complain about
It's funny that you complain about it when I'm the one who scraped a bit of paint off the car on it. Not you, me. I did that.
I know, but it made me feel so much better that you did it first. I was so happy when you're like, babe, I scraped paint off the car. So now if I do it, I don't have to feel bad because you did it first.
Yeah, that was when we first moved in, and it has not been a problem since.
Because I'm very careful. But anyway, thank you to everyone who checked on us. And
yes,
I know that a lot of people are, as we record this, still going through it, not just from Milton, but Helene.
What a 1-2 punch.
We were very fortunate, and
yes,
I hope whatever kind of speedy recovery that is possible for your situation to everyone who is.
I will still, drink to that.
In the weeds.
Yes. Cheers. So this episode is brought to you by
In the Weeds.
I think so.
Wow.
But this is brought to you by a margarita.
Mm-hmm. Because it is an in-between-isode, so we're not doing a beer of the week.
Yeah, so we'll do a cocktail. Now, this is not like a particularly special cocktail. This is just a pretty plain margarita, but if I do say so myself, I make really good margaritas.
Well, then you should put up the margarita recipe.
It's
I'll
just
see a salt in your face.
Thank you. Yeah, that's probably going to be a perpetual problem.
Okay, we're going to do the 1 minute mark for you. Okay.
I have not prepared, so we'll see how this goes.
I have notes and I didn't let you make any. I'm the worst. Okay, ready?
No.
Okay, 1 minute summary of Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer thus far, and go.
So we began Sketchbook. Well, I'm doing well. Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer with Ella Day, who is our seer. She is beginning her first day at a new school. It is in the first semester. During this first day, she encounters, she has a vision of her math teacher dying as well as other visions, but the vision of her math teacher dying in the next chapter actually ends up happening. He does get resuscitated once he gets to the hospital, but still, he did die, so the vision came true. She gets hailed as a hero because of her quick actions. Wow. Her quick actions and helping Mr. Carver get to the hospital to at least get that far. And there is this big event that happens in the auditorium / gymnasium / whatever the place has. A fire alarm gets set off because there's a school fire in the staff room. They all leave and get out of the high school where she has a lot of other visions. And then Jason takes her to his mom's cafe where she has a vision of really unfortunate copulation. There's werewolf damage.
2 and 1.
I did a pretty decent job.
That was amazing. Just watching your panic. You're red. Your poor little neck is so red.
Oh no.
That was amazing.
I have been slain.
You have been slain. Okay.
I am killed.
Now I'm really nervous because I wanted to.
Yeah, you don't get to pick up where I left off either. So you gotta start from the beginning.
But I have no.
So wait, are you allowed to use your notes during the? Notes. If you think that this
I
is
just
cheating,
wanted you to not
one.
have time to prepare for pure comedy purposes because you're hilarious.
Thank you so much. We should repost the videos that we took during the pandemic where it was like, okay, sum up this book in 20 seconds.
Oh,
yes.
That
was fun.
Okay. All right.
My
now
anxiety.
You have to set the clock for me.
Oh, I've got it set.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Okay.
I was not. Unfair. Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer, protagonist Ella Day, orphan, seer, new kid in town who is the new, don't touch my notes, who is the new object of everyone's curiosity in Laureldale, an idyllic Adirondack town where everything is very awkward.
What does your margarita taste like?
Oh, don't, you're distracting me. On the first day of school, Ella has a vision of her teacher dying, which unfortunately comes true. While she's having her teacher die, Paige, a wall, and Caleb, the wall is a person. It makes sense later. I'll become her friend. She and Ella and the wall managed to resuscitate
25 seconds left.
Don't be mean. Okay. And then Caleb is a fae. You suck. Okay, this is really hard. Okay, so then Caleb, who is also a fae, walks her to school the next day because she doesn't really want to go there. But then the school catches fire and she has a stress violent vision.
10.
But then they have the welcome week bonding anyway, which makes no sense anymore. And then there's then there's a washer outside her window and you see her drawing stuff.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah. Even with notes, not so easy, is it? Okay, so now that we've gone through that madness, let's actually break down the book a little bit. That was okay.
I'm sweating. I'm sweating
yeah,
everywhere.
I know. Me too. Well, that's partially because we turned off the air conditioning in order to record this podcast. This podcast is brought to you by no AC. But it actually that is like the one. If there is a bright side to Milton coming through, it is the fact that right now in Orlando it is 72 degrees, and that is lovely. And we'll be opening up windows later because the babes love the windows. So okay, chapter 1. Mm-hmm. We meet Ella for the first time. She talks about the 3 lies that she tells on her first day of school. Do you remember what the 3 lies are? It's
my name is Ella Day. The Grim Reaper doesn't exist.
Yep. And I don't know how Mr. Carver died in math class. Is that right?
I don't know how the teacher died. I don't know if it says his name.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
I don't know how my teacher died in math class.
Okay, yeah, that's something like that.
I was just about to reach for the bookshelf behind us to grab the book to just read it, but it doesn't exist in that
Not quite yet, no.
Okay, continue.
Outside of your little booklets. No, which are super cute, and I'm very proud of you. Thanks. You have, 50 of them now or something? More? I don't know. Okay, so what was I going to ask? Oh, have we talked about, and not that this is important, but what Ella's actual name is yet? Or do you want that to just kind of be
Nope.
Okay, all right, cool. So we learn pretty early on that the supernatural is real, like there are real paranormal creatures, and that there is a pretty dense
creatures does not.
I'm sorry.
Species. People. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that Caleb is a creature.
I don't know. He's a pretty hot creature. I don't know. Through her eyes, anyway, it seems.
Okay.
What? Look, there's kind of a, like, I'm not spoiling anything, but there's like a little moment between Caleb and Ella in the next chapter, and it's kind of fun.
Oh, okay.
There's a little heart fluttering going on.
Okay,
anyway,
we don't know who Caleb is
but
yet,
yeah, we don't.
continue.
Okay, where was I? I've completely lost the track of this conversation.
It's because we already ran through it twice without any success.
Yeah.
Okay, so her name is Ella
right. Her
Day.
name's Ella Day. She goes through a pretty typical day at school, just trying to survive. She's dealing with a lot of panic and anxiety because she has been recently orphaned, which I feel like is important to bring up at this point. And that's probably, I'm assuming, why some of her visions they might be coming a little bit more jagged now. That's something we haven't actually talked about, I don't think.
The way that her...
Yeah, like have her visions been affected? Like the frequency, the way that she experiences them by the panic that she feels and the anxiety.
Okay, I'm going to skip a little bit back
for
people who aren't catching up right
go
now.
ahead.
So the way that Ella experiences visions is it's like she is being thrust into the scene, but she can't stay there as long as she wants. So sometimes she will have a vision that's a second, 2 seconds long, and that's it. That's all she gets to see. And the way that she can get bumped from one vision to the next. So, for example, on her second day of school, when the school does catch fire, she does have a PTSD panic attack. And because she's in that huge anxiety state, she gets punched through a bunch of visions.
No, baby.
There's a cat on the mic table.
You can. Okay, there we go.
Because she gets punched through a bunch of visions because her brain is so caught in anxiety loop.
Right.
And so it's sort of, if she is calm, if she is well rested, if she is doing basically all the things that you're supposed to do for your mental health that most of us skip.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Then she has a fairly good handle on the vision.
Yeah, but when you've lost your entire family, that's...
And when your brain is constantly blipping in and out of panic and trying to figure it out and you're in survival mode, like she just does not have the walls to keep these things out. So she does. They are more jagged as she gets knocked from vision to vision to vision, salt face.
Oh my goodness. It's just going to happen.
I know. Okay. I'm going to keep brushing it off.
Thank you. Okay, so we get to her. The big thing that happens at the end of the first chapter is her having the vision of Mr. Carver dying in front of her in math class. She realizes pretty quickly on that he's wearing the exact same clothes, like in the present, that he was in the vision. So she's like, oh boy, this is happening today. And I think my favorite part of chapter 2 is where, and I think it is it's chapter 2, is where he like keeps kind of like going towards it, and she's got her thumb hovered over 911, and she's just like, just drop already. Because she, as a seer, can't just press 911 in advance because that draws a lot of attention to her.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting bit of detail that you've had to be like really careful about with her, is like she cannot act preemptively or else that will set off alarm bells. Yeah. And that could be a danger for the other Ethereans, which is one of the things that she is hoping Caleb will do, is just kill her if she ever becomes a danger to outing the Ethereans.
Oh, but now you went to Ethereans, so now we can explain that.
Oh, we can. All right.
Look at this. It's flowing so naturally.
It's so natural.
We're on we've done 2 of my bullet points. We're doing really well.
Nice. All right.
So Ethereans is the name for a segment of the supernatural community that formed an alliance a long time ago. And a part of that pact was to hide from the human world as a form of preservation. And so everyone in the Etherean community follows this same set of rules with the same set
there are a lot of people
penalties
today that hide from the world for safety. Sorry, continue.
Dark place.
No, I was actually thinking just more people who just don't want to be out in public.
Yeah. Okay. That also could be a dark place. Okay, moving on. So they are trying to keep themselves hidden from the humans. There are other supernatural creatures and beings who are not a part of the Etherean community.
Yes.
So all
The
Etherians are
the only
supernatural.
ones
Not
who
all
made that.
supernatural are Etherians.
And the Etherians are only the supernaturals that made the pact.
That were allowed in the pact.
Oh. Were there some who wanted to be a part of the pact and just they said no?
Yes.
Oh.
There was a certain standard to be upheld.
Gosh. I hate the Etherians. Sorry.
Mean. Okay, so then going on to Caleb, because you were talking about Caleb.
Yes.
Caleb is, in fact, an Etherian.
Mm-hmm.
He is a fellow classmate
Yes.
of Ella's.
Yes.
And he is Fae, specifically a dryad.
Right. I forget this about him.
Yes. So he is a dryad.
Yeah.
So he is one of her cohorts in school.
Mm-hmm.
But she learns very quickly that in Laureldale, Etherians don't mix with each other.
Right.
For safety's sake, they keep their distance in public so that if something goes wrong, it doesn't take all of them out together. So if one of them is discovered, not everybody has to run.
Right.
Okay, so then after that, continue.
Okay, so then we talked about Caleb, and like the first real scene that the two of them have together is walking on the trail on the way to school. She gets to school that day, makes it into class.
No, you went too far. When Ella gets to school the second day,
oh
Paige,
my gosh,
Paige
right.
Paxman, who is the enthusiastic leader of all things welcome, has set up a welcome week.
Yes.
A whole week for Ella.
Yeah, yep.
Including 4 different days, each focused on a different aspect of student life within their grade. It is the most extreme thing. Like, there are decorations on her locker. She has a 5-day long schedule for this. Like, it's a lot.
There are 4 envelopes.
Yes. So this is like her schedule. She is pulled into this welcome week, gets to class.
Yeah.
Is being hailed as a hero for doing CPR on Mr. Carver, who
Right.
is currently in the ICU.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Can we wait a tangent real quick? I know we're trying to keep this not like a full-length episode, but that's the first time that our main character locks lips with somebody in the book is for CPR. So the way that Megan deals with this is by taking cellophane off of her new planner and then poking a hole in it.
Okay, you make it sound
genius.
weird. So she has in the chapter before a brand new planner.
She's taken cellophane off of it.
She pulls that off the planner. It happens to be in her back pocket.
No.
She uses it for that. She's not like running around the room being like, "Oh my God, he's dying! Someone give me our still wrapped planner." Like it's just ingenuity.
Get me some antimicrobial chapstick. I don't know. Yeah, that seems like a bad idea.
Exist,
I hope not.
I'm sure it does.
That would be really
continue.
bad for you. Where was it? Oh, right. So she opens the first envelope, which is kindness. And that doesn't fully come into play yet. She gets to homeroom, right, where there is a throne waiting for her. She barely gets
her welcome throne.
Her welcome throne, decorated with gold stars. A crescent of them, as a matter of fact. I just read that today. I was like, I need to check this for continuity for the next chapter. But she barely gets to sit and get her little stuffed ram with a superhero cape on it.
Yeah, so thank you
it's
for
really
helping
cute.
Mr.
She
Palmer.
and Jason both get them.
Jason
is the wall.
Yes, Jason is the wall. He is a very tall, very sweet, kind of Labrador of a guy.
Yeah, I could see that. It's kind of like a yellow lab.
Yeah, just like very friendly, nice, massive guy who helped her do CPR.
When they get called to the gymnasium, is that where it's the gymnasium?
Yeah.
Yeah. In order to be thanked in front of the school, and then that is when the
which everyone loves.
Alarm, yeah.
Everyone loves getting put in front of the whole school.
100%, especially somebody who's trying to maintain a low profile.
Who's trying to just get through.
And, this is a good time to mention that at the end of this chapter is the second time that we see the Watcher. Or that is what we are calling them right now. This is somebody who has been recording Ella, been kind of keeping tabs on her conversations, who knows that she is a seer. We do not know who this person is yet. I have theorized that it's probably a teenager, but I don't know. I'm just assuming.
So the Watcher, to clarify, the way that we see the Watcher
I don't know what you're talking about. I was perfectly clear with that.
Is we know that Ella is a seer. In Ella's world, in Ella's head, that's not a secret. It's not a secret to the reader, but it is to all of the humans in town. So we know that someone is recording her, and we know that they know that she is a seer.
Yes.
We don't know anything about them other than that there is someone who is filming her who knows exactly what she is.
Yeah. Yeah, we know nothing about the person.
Okay, I clarified.
Okay, great. So it is, are you checking my face for salt, or are you just laughing?
No, I'm just laughing.
Okay, so then the gymnasium has to be evacuated because there is a fire alarm going off. We come to find out that it is a staff room fire. We don't know what caused it. I still don't think that we really know what caused that. It's not important to us in this moment. We can assume that the Watcher had something to do with this. But
I don't know what you are talking about.
Okay. So it is at this point where Ella's visions really start going on the fritz, and she experiences 3 in a row when they get out there. Because the one about Noah is earlier that day.
Mm-hmm. So she has already been tossed through a vision of one of her classmates standing in the school parking lot holding a knife and a hammer.
It is a knife and a hammer. Okay, I was going to say that.
Then when the auditorium, the gym is evacuated, she goes through watching Jason the Wall run through a cafe.
Yes, with wingback chairs.
Yes, watching Jason the Wall be yelled at in a hallway.
Yep, and by the time she's able to turn around, the person's gone.
Mm-hmm. We watch Paige Paxman, Queen of All Things Welcome, with a creepy wall of photos.
Oh, I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We watch people running through the woods.
Okay. Yes. Wait.
Yes, there are people running through the woods, and that is it.
There are people running through the woods in that one?
Yeah.
Is that not, does she not see the girl on the cracked pavement at this time?
Oh, yes, and the girl, and the dead girl pavement. Lying on stained cracked
And she
pavement.
knows for sure that she's dead in that vision.
Well, she's face down with blood on the back of her head, so.
So probably, yeah,
Safe
we can
enough.
assume. Yeah.
Like, we can assume she's dead.
Okay.
If not currently, soon to be.
Okay, so, is it, no, not Sydney, Tessa. Tessa gets them out of the, like, they're supposed to all stay there while the parents are notified and everything. Tessa's father
after the school is evacuated, they're all supposed to go to their rally points for the fire drill stuff.
Yes, and Tessa's father is the fire chief. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she is able to get him to agree that they can leave. Tessa, Paige, Jason, and Ella are all allowed to leave. Mm-hmm. Is Violet allowed to leave too, or no? Is that why she's late?
No. So what we have is our Welcome Week primary crew created by Paige Paxman. We have Paige Paxman, Welcome Extraordinaire.
I love her.
We have Jason the Wall, Golden Retriever. Mm-hmm. We have Tessa, Fire Chief's daughter, really wants to be a helper so she can be a part of things. We have Sydney, Type A Miss Perfection. Mm-hmm. We have Andre, her I will do whatever you say boyfriend.
Yes.
And then we have Violet, a werewolf with a less than welcoming attitude.
Yeah, who Ella knows this already before they get to their next destination. She has had a run-in with Violet, and Violet has just kind of shrugged her off and been like, no. And Ella's like, okay.
Okay, we won't be friends.
Yeah. Which is sad because Ella is also a wolf, kind of. Not really, but sort of. She was born to a pack, right? So she is part wolf.
Ella, so we can do this too.
Go ahead.
There we go. I like talking through this because it's all these bullet points. I wouldn't have. They're all within my bullet points, but there's lots of details that that didn't make the list.
You're welcome.
So with the Etherean Treaty Pact, seers were created. Yeah. So seers can be born to every race that was a part of that pact. So vampires, werewolves, banshees, witches, all of those things, they can have seers. If a seer is born to any of these kinds, they will not have the abilities of that kind.
Right. So you cannot be a witch and a seer.
Ella was born to a werewolf.
Right.
But she is not a werewolf.
Right. She has never shifted. She does not have the strength of a werewolf unshifted or anything like that.
She doesn't have the ability to shift. None of that stuff.
But she does have, we should mention, just in case this doesn't come up later, she does have supernatural strength for somebody like her, I guess. Like she
has like,
she's above normal human strength.
She's like, oh dude, are you like training?
Yeah.
Like, it's too much for her
like,
frame.
not quite Olympian, but like...
No, but like too much for her frame and athletic level.
Okay.
Like, awkwardly strong for that.
Right.
But you wouldn't, like, put her against the strongest man in the world and have her win.
Sure. That wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get back on the actual course of the action. So they get excused from school, basically. After the fire, and Jason takes Ella to the Argo. Mm-hmm. It is worth mentioning that Etherian is a Greek word, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and it basically means like of the ether.
It basically means like of light of the sky, of like the brightness that makes all things.
Okay. So, but it's funny that she is in Laureldale, like laurels in Greek, not Greek myth, but like Greek history. And then also, and Roman, but also that the place is called the Argo and his name is Jason. I think that's adorable because that's the name of Jason's ship and Jason.
Okay. To be honest, so Laureldale is specifically for the Greek roots of the Etherians.
So the Etherians created Laureldale.
The Etherians
founded.
Founded. So like they weren't the first people to ever be there, but they were the ones who incorporated the township.
Okay, that makes sense.
The Jason, the Argo, having a fleece street in town. It's just one of those things where like a committee decided to really embrace the Greek mythology, and Jason's dad is like hometown boy, always wanted to have a son who'd be team captains and the star of everything. And so like that's kind of the thing that he's built his life around, is like, yes, my son Jason the Mighty. So that's kind of where the shtick comes from. Okay. For that. So it's like part of it is done by the Etherians for depth and meaning. The rest of it is like hometown hero kind of thing.
So we get to the Argo, which is on Fleece Streets. It's adorable.
Which always makes me want to sing the Demon Barber of Fleece Street.
I know. I brought that up in that episode.
But now it's in my head every
time. You're welcome.
You ruined it for me.
So you're very welcome. Mischief. So Jason, I think it's
that's
after
from Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Those are Sweeney Todd.
By the way,
references.
if you've only seen the Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, like Tim Burton version, please do yourself a favor and go watch the Angela Lansbury, George Hearn version. It's so much better.
Angela Lansbury is amazing.
She's phenomenal. And so is George Hearn.
So back to the Argo.
So I believe it's when Jason...
You can tell that our thoughts are getting really linear after the hurricane. Like, we've totally rallied the anxiety 100%. Back into normal
And that's
life.
Why we're not recording the other episode tonight. We're going to give it a night. We're going to sleep. But we
have electricity, but
but not
continuity and head thing.
Continuity and head thing. I think I just proved my point.
You are an
author. So I believe it's when Jason sees the smoke over the Argo that he freaks out, right?
Yes.
So he sees the smoke from the school over the roof or from the Argo. Anyway, he can see it, and he freaks out and bolts into the cafe. Ella follows him, and what is he doing? He is running through a set of wingback chairs in this cafe, like in her vision.
Yes.
And so this is the second vision of hers we have seen come to fruition. She follows him at a distance and kind of eavesdrops, naughty Ella. And but she's worried. I get it. She is concerned because
she's a seer, because it's like, okay, if this pinged in my brain is something about
something
like,
formative, right?
Well, it means that something, for a vision to happen, it can't just be like someone brushing their teeth. It has to be a moment in the timeline of someone's life that was big enough to blip.
Right.
And it can be a good, happy thing. It can be a sad thing. It can be a life and death thing. Mm-hmm. It can be lots of things like that. And she doesn't know when she gets these visions.
She wants to be there in case she needs to intervene.
Yeah, in case like, he's running back there and now like, I'm going to have to do CPR the second day in a row. So she is eavesdropping. But in this situation, she has no guilt.
You hear that, kids? It's okay to eavesdrop if you're doing it for the good. Listen to your Uncle Chris. Okay, so So she eavesdrops on, please don't listen in on conversations you're not invited to. Don't try this at home. But she listens in on Jason and his, do we know right away it's his mother? Yes. Okay. I was like, I don't remember if she just kind of
Jason
put together context clues or what. But yeah, so Jason and his mom are having this argument. We find out that things are not going well between Jason's mom and Jason's dad, apparently. And we don't really... Oh, no, we do find out why. I couldn't remember if this is one of those things that you told me that I'm not supposed to know, but no, we find out why.
No, the why is... So Jason's dad is the chief of police, is the captain... My brain.
He's the chief of police?
No, he's the sheriff.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yes. So his dad is the sheriff. I don't know why I'm going chief of police. We're like all of a sudden on an SVU.
SVU. Man.
Peak hurricane brain. So
by the way, sorry, just to offshoot real quick. We found out recently, and we kind of questioned this because it's like you can't believe everything you read on the internet. Take that lesson, kids. But there was something about hurricane fatigue. This was our first real hurricane. I know it was, by the time it got to Orlando, it was only a Cat 1, but still, it was a Cat 1. We had never been in the middle of that. And it was really nerve-grating. And so there's this thing called hurricane fatigue, apparently, that, and I'm sure the people on the coast, God love you, I can't imagine what you went through. But that, I guess your adrenals just get so overworked that eventually you have burnout. And I think that we're both kind of in the middle of that right now. It's just
No, my brain just hasn't come out of ping, 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 ping,
panic.
Everything is dying.
Right, yeah.
That's just where my brain is.
Seriously, the sound of screeching metal in 76 mile per hour gusts of wind, it was a lot at 4:30 in the morning.
And then
that's what woke me up.
People who are dealing with storm surge.
Yeah, well, and I literally woke you up. I said, I am closing this shutter. I don't want you to freak out, but this needs to close now. And then you got up and looked out the window and you were like, oh, it was not cute.
Well, watching, because some of that sheet metal hit the tree and just wrapped the fuck around it.
Yeah. I was like, Megan, you can't say, oh wait, yes. No,
yes, I can say fuck on this podcast. I can say fuck on this
yes,
podcast
because
Ella says fuck all the time.
She does.
So we should put a few more fucks in, just so if this is where people are starting, they're not like, oh, she said fuck once. I don't know if I can do this. No.
There is a paragraph in which the word fuck is said 4 times.
No, it's a sentence.
Is it a sentence?
It's a sentence. And I'm proud of it.
Good job.
Okay,
well done.
So we're at the Argo.
Yes. So this whole thing happens where Jason's father is supposed to call his mother because something happens and it doesn't happen.
No.
Wait, what?
No. So Jason's mother is pissed.
Okay.
Because she's finding out secondhand that her kid was in a burning building when her husband has been at that scene for 30 minutes.
You're right. Yeah, that's messed up.
So she never got the call that her kid was A, in danger, or B, safe.
Right.
She found out from patrons that her kid's school was on fire.
Yeah, that's not good.
So that's what the fight is about.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think that Jason texts over, hey, can you put together a room for us? instead of being school's on fire, he's casually can we have the terrace or whatever it is?
The conservatory.
Conservatory. I'm sorry.
Yes,
that's right. Because it's glassed in.
In the Argo, which is the cafe, which is named for the Jason, which is on the Fleece Street.
You're hilarious.
They have a conservatory in back, and because day 1 of Ella's Welcome Week got burned, they are moving the festivities. They are moving the festivities to the Argo and into the conservatory, so they have this lovely, impressive private space.
Yes.
Jason brings them cappuccinos and lemonades and rolls, which Ella loves. And they're having this wonderful time. Unfortunately, Ella does get smacked with a vision.
Yes.
This is a vision of the past. She can have visions of the past and the future.
And it's important to note here, and maybe you're already getting to this, I apologize if I'm stepping on this, but speaking of stepping, she can walk in the past. She has feet in the past, which she does not have in visions of the future. So she's actually able to walk around and survey the scene.
Yes.
Yeah, but which not
is
in
just,
the future.
Okay, so this is going off track.
Okay. That's fine.
Are we allowed to go off track right now?
Look, you know what? This is already running longer than I thought, so let's just go for it. It's fine. Let's go.
We're learning as we go.
We're learning as we go.
So the thing with her being able to walk in the past is that when something is in the future, even if the set thing, like Jason bolting through the restaurant, is fairly well set, at least set enough that she can see it.
Yeah.
Where somebody put their purse next to their chair isn't set.
Okay.
It could be changed by a million micro things. So she doesn't have access to all those mini details because they aren't set yet. So when she's in the past, the plants in the conservatory were where they were. The glasses, the cell phone, everything is where it is.
So she can view it.
So she can see it all and have that kind of mobility because there aren't all these million micro changes.
I want you to understand in this moment that this is a sign. Yes, I'm bragging on my wife. This is a sign of
You're gonna make me turtle.
Of your brilliance, because it would not have even occurred to me that the reason she can't view everything is because not everything has happened. Like, does that make sense? Like, it didn't even occur to me that the set dressing wouldn't be set. Does that make sense? So, like, I never would have thought to even include that.
Maybe that's just you, baby.
I don't think so, honey.
Maybe that's just a you thing.
No, I don't think so.
I'm gonna go with that it is.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's why she can walk in the past. And so when they're going into the conservatory for the cappuccinos and rolls, she does see a scene of unfortunate copulation. It is that awkward kind of sex that you just you hear it through the wall in cast housing.
Well, she even says, and let's not even go there.
Cast housing, because we were professional musical theater actors for years, is when they put all the actors in a small house for a show to live together, and then a lot of shit goes down. Sorry, continue.
Y'all, I cannot even...
No, we actually can't say those things on the podcast.
No, but I'm just
we can say fuck. We know.
You would think that actors involved in a show meant for families. Anyway,
Beauty of the Beast, dirtiest
I wasn't even
ever.
gonna bring that up. I was gonna say the name. Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, so it is unfortunate copulation.
Yes, unfortunate copulation.
It is awkward.
Yes, and a window gets broken. There is a phone call that happens. The woman who was a part of the unfortunate copulation says to the man
the sloppy thumping.
What?
That made it worse. I made it worse.
Horrendous.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Wow. So the woman says to the man, like, do not tell anybody about this or you're dead.
Yeah.
Basically. So this is the beginning of something. We don't know what, but this is important, right? This is one of those, you say it in the chapter about how this is like a snag that just so happens to catch her.
So so the timeline of someone's life, if something's in the future, it hasn't been smoothed down by experience yet. Does that make sense? So after it's happened, it's kind of sanded down. So these are moments in someone's life or in the world's
it's almost like
existence.
clay that's been worked with that is now hardened.
Yes.
Kinda,
where like this bit was such a big snag that thorn hasn't lessened even though time has passed.
Right.
So it's that window smashing moment is so much that it hasn't been faded by time.
Okay.
And it's just like, it could be anything. It could be a breakup. It could be blah, blah, blah. It could be whatever. But those super big moments can be seen from the other side.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, continue.
Yes. Okay, so let's get away from
continue is my catchphrase.
I love it.
New rule, when we do in-between-isode catch-up episodes, there should be a drinking game. And every time I say continue.
My beverage is already gone.
That would actually be a horrible drinking game. And I don't want anyone to get alcohol poisoning because of it.
Yeah, let's please not do that. Don't try this at home, kids.
Well, then.
We are trained professionals.
Okay, continue.
All right. So let's get away from the scene of copulation. There is, this is when we really start the kindness.
Yes.
Welcome week thing, right?
And in the kindness path for Welcome Week, it's really all about volunteerism, community service.
Yes.
We're talking about like the park cleanup, the community event planners, the Gay Straight Alliance, the people who do like the food.
Isn't there something with the retirement community?
There's a retirement community. There's the food pantry.
Yes.
It's like that is the track of like all things volunteerism do-goody about Laureldale.
Yes.
And that is a very strong presence in Laureldale.
Yes, it is. And I think that Sydney even says that like Laureldale High is like the center of like all of this.
Yeah.
They're the ones who see to all of these acts of kindness.
Yeah. And I mean, it hasn't been like, I haven't like laid it out on the page and been like, this is why Laureldale likes community service so much.
Right.
But Laureldale is that kind of perfect town where you have that feeling when you're there that everything is just a little unreally pretty, unreally perfect. Like it's just too much.
Yeah. I was unreally. That's an interesting word, but now it works. Yeah.
Hurricane brain.
Yeah.
But have you ever had that feeling where you like step into some place and the moment hits you and it's just like the air is a little bit too crisp and the colors are a little bit too bright and you're like, oh, this is like super reality. It's all just a step too much.
You know, I feel like I kind of almost felt that way when we were in Sintra. In Portugal.
Yeah, where it's like
it's just, which by the way, if you travel, go to Portugal
because there are these castles on the horizon, and I actually think it is a good comparison to Sintra, where the locals appreciate this gem that they have.
Well, because we literally said so. I had said to Megan, I was like, this literally feels like stepping into a fairy tale. I asked one of the locals, one of the women who was working in the shop, and I was because I know that like I think there are some people who come in just for like seasonal work.
And
which
you
is
extrovert
normal.
at people, so you just talk whether they want you to or not.
I do. And people talk back though. Like people talk back.
Some of them do.
Yeah.
Some of them just stare in terror.
That's not my intention, is to terrify people.
Okay, continue.
Okay. But I was talking to a woman who was working in a shop there, and I said, "Do you live around here?" And she said, "Yeah, I do." I said, "How is it? Like how do you like it?" And she went, "Honestly, it's like living in a fairy tale." And I was like, "Okay, I feel validated."
And that's kind of the thing with Laureldale, where it's that they have a sort of pounded into your head appreciation for this place is special, this place is pretty, you will protect it. This space is pretty, you will protect it.
Yes.
So there is kind of that house pride aspect to it of like, no, we protect our town. Our town is pretty. We do this because even though the residents aren't aware that there are these massive supernatural things happening in their midst, they understand that there is something very special about their home and that it is to be guarded and protected rather than tossed aside.
Right. Okay. So I am going to move us ahead a little bit.
Okay.
They have the...
I'm so sorry. You have a fuzz on your nose bridge and I can't concentrate while it's there.
Thank you.
Okay, you can talk again.
Thank you very much. Okay, continue.
That's only cute when I do it.
Okay. So the Kindness Welcome Week is explained. There is a really tense few moments between Violet, the angry werewolf, and Jason. So we figure that there's something going on there that we don't know anything about yet. And I don't think that you mention it. I think that we have just talked about this.
What we really know is that Violet is showing up for this Welcome Week shit, even though she would rather not be around Paige.
Because Paige made them sign stuff.
Paige made them sign a Welcome Week contract to be a part of this shit.
Oh, Paige.
And Violet does not want to be around Jason, does not want to be around Paige. She's kind of okay with Tessa. She's fine with Sydney and Andre. But she's there because she's there for Ella.
Yeah.
And her fuse with Jason is short.
Yes.
And it fucking burns out.
It does burn out. And at which point, Violet takes Ella because Ella says that she wants to go home. Violet's like, I'll drive her. And Jason's like, no. And Violet's like, fuck off, Jason. I'm taking her. And so Violet basically kidnaps Ella. She
only breaks a finger in her nose.
So she basically kidnaps Ella. She puts her in her Jeep, and before they even get into the Jeep, Ella tries to pull away, and that's how the finger ends up broken. So that one wasn't entirely Violet's fault. But the nose breaking and the shoulder punches are Violet's fault.
It wasn't a shoulder punch, it was an elbow.
I am so
Far
sorry.
more
She
effective.
punched her with her elbow. Okay.
Wait, can you punch somebody with your elbow? Wouldn't that be a different term?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I thought there was something about martial arts. I suddenly missed.
So the reason that Megan even asked that is because I am a black belt in Taekwondo, which is whatever. But
I have to ask people about punching things because I've never actually punched anyone. And
I actually think didn't I choreograph your very first fight scene in the book?
You did, because I was like, how does punching work? And then I've done like the workshops and the talks and the lectures.
You haven't asked me in a very long time to do your fight scenes.
How guns kick back and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm like, lover, not a fighter. Put your thumbs inside your fists for punching.
I just remember being so proud of you during the fight sequences in Vilbrea because I had nothing to do with them, and I was like, these are all legit, man. They're great.
Oh yeah, the one with Emmett when he's just silent.
Dude, there's we're getting off topic, and this is going so long. Okay, I'm gonna withhold my comments about Ilbrea because Ilbrea is my favorite of your worlds. And we're gonna get back to Laureldale.
But if you want a really great fight scene, that it's
Ice and Sky, man.
Oh yeah, read the end of Ilbrea series. I'm really proud of that. Or listen to the audiobook if you're an audio person, because that narrator
Alexandra Hunter is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so we're getting back to this, and I'm not gonna lie, I still am vouching to get her for this audiobook. I really am, because she's so good. And I would love to hear her do Ella.
Vouching? Voting?
No. You vouch for somebody. Yeah, I'm vouching for Alexandra to get...
I think you misused that.
I don't think so. Okay, let us know in the comments. So Violet takes Ella back home on the way. We do. Can we have an adult, please?
Meanie walks
Violet
back in. Meanie's the cat that was here.
Yeah. Violet drives Ella home. On the way, there is nose breaking. There are shoulder jabs with the elbow. There's blood. Yep. We learn a few things on this trip. We learn that Violet is a very, very desperate werewolf. There is something that she wants enough to be threatening a seer. That is a big no-no. You do not threaten a seer in this world.
Ethereans are born because seers are born because of the Etherean treaty. They were created by that pact, and therefore are not to be
through
harmed.
the magic of dragons, right?
We haven't really gotten into that
yet. But still,
yet.
dragons created them.
Yes.
So they're dragonborn.
Wait, are we going into that now? That hasn't been talked about anywhere.
Yeah, we have. I think so.
Okay, so what happened?
They're dragonborn.
They're not dragonborn.
Which is a big Skyrim thing, by the way.
They are not born in eggs. There are no scales.
Dragonborns aren't born in eggs. You need to play Skyrim. No.
I can't play Skyrim. I can't jump in a video game.
You don't have to jump. It's actually famously a non-jumpy game.
What happened was 500 years ago / more, when the Arthurian legends were going around killing off dragons had been the protectors of the supernatural, but they realized their time was running out, and they wanted to create an almost Noah's Ark-like protection of let us help you blend in with humanity by using the last of our magic to protect you. And part of that was helping the supernatural races to lose some of their distinctive characteristics so they could blend in better with humans. And some of that was creating sibyls and seers, /seers, I guess.
Yes.
To protect the Etherean community by having that ability to look into the future that had been the dragon's place before.
Okay. Oh, I see. So the dragons had been the protectors.
They had been the protectors, but there was no one left to protect. So the best thing they could do was create sibyls who could see the threats and give the Ethereans time.
So Sean Connery created the sibyls.
Sean Connery decided that Ella Day should exist.
Thank you for going along with me on that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Dragonheart fans out there, you're welcome.
That was a terrible Sean Connery.
That was wonderful. I think that's your best work yet, actually. Okay, so don't threaten seers. Don't threaten sibyls. Very, very bad idea, but Violet is doing it anyway. So we learned that she is very, very desperate. We also learned that she doesn't know a lot about the Etherean community, to be completely honest. Like, she has no idea where Reapers are. That's not good. But read the chapter to find out more about that. So Ella gets home. She narrowly avoids seeing her
legal
I
guardian.
want to say keeper. I don't know why. But yes, her legal guardian, Kate. And actually, Kate is very nice about it. She doesn't narrowly avoid seeing her. Kate's like, hey, come see me if you want. Or, don't. And there's food if you want it.
Kate is big on binging parenting books. She is doing her best.
So that night, Ella decides to actually dive into the vision that she saw of the dead girl. She's decided that is the most pressing matter in her life right now as a civil.
Vision of the dead girl lying face down on the cracked pavement.
Yes. So the next day happens, and now we're getting caught
back up.
Oh, see, I was catching us up. I was getting to chapter 10.
No, so while Ella is working on these visions, the way that she tries to sort out her visions, because she has 2 seconds to
okay,
take
this
in
is
a scene.
Moderately important. Yeah, sure.
Moderately. So she has 2 seconds to take in a scene, sometimes longer.
Yeah.
In the case of the unfortunate copulation, she had a little bit too much time there.
Can we rename that chapter Unfortunate Copulation?
Should we for the book?
No.
Oh, man. That would be fun. We'll consider it.
Okay.
I would say I will press
taken
for
under
it,
advisement.
It gets pressed for it. Okay, so the vision of the girl on the concrete, she only got to see it for 1 second, 2 seconds. And so she's trying to figure out the details of everything that she saw so she can understand what happened to this girl, so she can figure out if she can help / how to help.
Yeah.
And the way that Ella does that is by breaking down the image. So she is sitting at her desk trying to sketch out what she saw to see what details she can figure out.
Right.
And the watcher is recording her from creepily close to her bedroom window.
Yes, creepily. So close that he can see the black eyes. Which, not that Violet punched her in the eyes, but when you get a broken nose, that's going to happen. Okay, the next day.
Yes.
Ella decides not to try to hide this from Kate, but to Kate the Guardian, to ask for Kate's help because Kate is a witch. I don't think we've talked about that yet. But Kate has actually seen to Ella's wounds in the past, so Ella knows that she's good for it. Kate talks to her a little bit, heals her wounds. Ella decides not to unload the Violet problem onto Kate, which is very big of her. I still think it's a little stupid, but, she's a teenager, and we were all dumb as teenagers. What? We all made stupid... Look, come on. Teenagers are we're actually meant to be stupid. Wasn't there a study about that? There was something about how, as teenagers, we're supposed to make those stupid mistakes. Our brains are hardwired to do that. Yeah.
Okay, for people who are listening to the audio edition of this, I am making the biggest face.
No, I'm serious.
Right, okay, you're going to have to find this study for me because I don't know what you're talking about.
I will figure it out, but it's something about how we are hardwired to
be impulsive.
Kind of make basically.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Impulsive, stupid, it's the same thing, okay? I'm just saying, if you were following every impulse, that's a bad idea. Probably don't do it. Unless there are some people that I know that probably could follow every impulse because they're just that good of people.
What kind of intrusive thoughts do they have?
I don't want to know.
They must be boring. Okay, continue.
Okay. Sorry, that was funny. Okay, so Ella eventually makes it out of Kate's, does go back to school by driving the Jeep that she's been refusing to drive because it was her... Oh, I'm so sorry, Violet's Jeep. But the truck that Ella drives belongs to her gran. She doesn't like driving it because it reminds her of her gran, and her gran was one of the ones that was lost in whatever attack it was on Ella that Ella managed to survive. I know a little bit about that. I'm not allowed to share.
Clarification, Ella's grandmother died in the same incident as her mother and father.
Oh, that's true. We never really say that it's necessarily an attack, do we? And I don't even know. I do not know exactly how they died, and I am excited / terrified to find out. So she does. I am, because I know how you treat. That's a terrible Yoda. So
my last impression was better.
Sean Connery was much better than your Yoda.
Another nose foot.
Thank you so much. Okay, so she does make her way back to school. She gets there. There's something. Oh, right. She doesn't have a coat. That's not incredibly important to this. Going back and recounting all of this, she gets towards her locker and finds Paige having an argument with Principal Harrison. Principal Harrison, the dear man, the dear sweet man. He's trying. He's trying so hard.
Principal Harrison has so many master's degrees, and is really sure he can be a good principal, but damn, he is not prepared for a high school infiltrated by Ethereans.
Very soft-hearted. Very soft-hearted man.
The man is not ready for a seer.
No, he's not. So Ella, the short of it is, Ella was supposed to go and see him the day before. She didn't. He wants her to come to him now, and she's like, but it's my welcome week, and basically just trying to get out of seeing Principal Harrison. She pouts her way out of it, and it works. She grabs her second envelope, which is for Spirit. So she's to do Spirit, which is with Jason. Finds out at the end.
Jason, the Golden Lab Wall.
The Golden Lab Wall. Mm-hmm. The Golden Lab Wall. And speaking of Jason, Paige and Ella run into him outside of their homeroom together. And when they run into him, he tells them how Mr. Carver, who had died but then was resuscitated, is now double dead, as Oogie Boogie would say, because a tree has fallen on him through the hospital
That's
roof.
Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah.
Yes, so not everyone knows who Oogie Boogie is.
If you don't know who Oogie Boogie is, you watch that movie right now.
See, the problem with this podcast is you're talking to someone who knows basically all of your references.
That's because we've been together for forever.
I know, but that means I have to clarify, because if you go,
we've been together for well over half our lives.
I know.
So yeah, you know all of my references.
Is that why I need a nap?
Probably.
Kidding.
No, it's
you're the one who needs a nap because of me.
That too. Yes.
But
Oogie Boogie.
Oh yes.
Double
so
dead.
what
Mr.
happens to Carver, because Ella's third day of school, when she is driven to the school in her Grand's Jeep that she doesn't like to drive, it has been soaking out. She doesn't have a coat. The lightning in the storm struck a tree near the hospital. The tree fell through the hospital roof and smushed Mr. Carver, who had recently had a heart attack and been resuscitated.
So basically what we are to glean from this, or maybe not what we are to glean, but what is impossible not to glean from this, is that dude needed to die.
He did.
Like he did. He needed to die. Although you can tell me if we have to cut this. No, tell me if we have to cut this. But Megan did say to me, or actually you might have said this in the last episode, but that we're not going to really revisit this until the next book.
Okay, so I will tell you two things.
Okay.
One.
Yes.
Unless the Grim Reaper is there taking someone, there is no such thing as meant to die.
And the Reaper was not there to take him.
Two.
Because she doesn't see him.
You are right. We will not know about it until the second book. Interesting.
So then he wasn't meant to die. Necessarily. Because Ella doesn't see the Reaper.
Grim Reaper is real, man.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And that actually brings us almost to time for a full episode. So congratulations. You're getting 2 full episodes in a day. Wow. That's insane, man.
It's the thing is, if you look at, okay, so because of the way I write, and because I like the 3-act structure, it makes sense in my head.
Yeah, well, I think that also when you were traditionally published, you were put with an amazing editor for your first series, and she was kind of the one that I think introduced you to doing that for your writing. Not that was the first time you'd ever encountered 3-act, but she was like, let's try this.
Well, it was the first time that she helped me figure out how to make it work for my writing style.
Right. Because that's where we inserted the Silver Fox. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the Act 1 drama.
For my first book, The Tethering.
Yes.
There was a flying silver fox. Spoiler alert.
It's not a spoiler.
So with this one, if you look at... Okay, sorry, backtrack. So the way I usually write books in a 3-act structure...
Yes.
Typically, I'm about 30 chapters.
Yes.
So we just talked through, because we are now at chapter 11.
Yes.
About a third of the book. That was, all of that was Act 1.
Yeah.
Of the 3-act structure. So Act 1 of Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer
is complete.
Ends with
Carver dying.
Smushed Carver.
Interesting. That's almost how it begins, too. It begins with the sight of him dying.
Oh, it's like symmetry.
Oh. Save me. Help me. In the arms of an angel.
Are you Sarah McLachlan me?
I am Sarah McLachlan-ing you.
But no, okay, bear with me. Mr. Anxiety Brain, which is rich coming from me.
I know.
But I just think it's really, it feels like we just started the podcast.
Yeah.
It feels like we just went up on Substack and Vella. And the fact that we are a third of the way through the book makes me do panic in my heart.
Don't do panic. It's okay.
But it seems like I can't only have 2/3 left. I don't know.
Yes, you do. And you need to remember this.
I know. But the nice thing is...
Don't worry. Sketchbook will turn into a 4-book series as well, even though she aims for trilogies all the time.
What I was going to say, sir, is that I'm excited about it because the way that we have formatted page by page and the way that I'm serializing Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer, I can actually control when season 2 starts.
Oh, that's true.
So this isn't like a normal book series where it's like, it's great. I finished book 1. I want to hop right into book 2. But because of the nature of publishing, everyone has to wait 6 months for the next book.
Right.
But because of the way we're doing this, I could wait 3 weeks.
That's true.
Because there is something super special and secret that I want to do in between season 1 and season 2. But I haven't talked to you about that yet, so I'm not going to say it on the podcast.
Yeah, please don't. Before you've talked to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of extra work. But it's going to be so cool and you're going to love it.
And oh my gosh, not that anybody does out there think, but this is my anxiety talking. And as Megan said, anxiety brain. Those of you who don't know Megan and I very well, I don't want you thinking when I say stuff like that it's like me as the husband being like, don't do this without talking to me. It's me as the publishing partner being like, please don't do this without talking to me.
Please don't do this. Please
Sorry,
me.
I just want to make that very clear that is the publishing partner speaking of like, thank you for being awesome and talking to me about that.
Now the younger sibling in me just wants to tell everyone what it is.
Do it.
So
all right, thank you so much for joining us for this week's In-Between-isode. Oh man, but we actually should
page by page.
Yeah, we actually should wrap it up. Yes.
If you are new to the Page by Page podcast and Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer, welcome. You are now entirely strangely caught up.
Yeah, that was a strange episode.
If you are,
that did not go the way I thought it would.
If you have been with Page by Page for a while, you now have your refresher / you can laugh at both of our scatterbrains. And as always, no matter how you enjoy the podcast, whatever platform, or if you're watching a video, whatever it is, please like, subscribe, share with a friend. And while there isn't a chapter to go along with this episode, for the regular episodes, there is always a chapter that you can find on Substack and Vella. So thank you for joining us for the In-between-isode. You are officially caught up and ready to join the adventure.
Yes, you are. And as always, thank you for reading.